Hello, and welcome back to Have You Seen with Nick and Lance. And this month is my turn. And so we kind of had a discussion about not making each other watch an entire several seasons worth of a show, but at least be like, I want you to watch this show. Let us get you started and see if it's a show that you're going to continue with, or if it's one that we watch the first couple episodes and you're like, yeah, tap it out.
Yeah, we settled on 3 episodes because I was like, have you seen The Shield? And you're like, I'm not watching 8 seasons of The Shield. And I was like, it's a really good show. And you're like, 3. I'll give you 3 episodes. So that's where we landed.
We never agreed to that.
Oh, so you'll watch the entire season?
No. It's more of if you've got The Shield, I'll watch The Shield, but if it's streaming somewhere, potentially. But I've got a lot of stuff to watch nowadays. So I posed the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, mainly because we've talked about 30 Rock before, and I remember you being like, 30 Rock's pretty good. It wasn't like a favorite show or anything like that, but I think it was one you enjoyed watching.
It was funny.
So I'm like, well, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is just kind of like 30 Rock humor. And I was like, if you like 30 Rock, check out Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It starts out kind of normal, like 30 Rock, and then as you get deeper and deeper into it, it gets kind of fucking wonky. But still, I guess, grounded in reality.
So I'm not going to say anything because I don't. Have you already locked in your number?
Yeah, my number's down.
See, I had the opposite reaction of that. That show started off fucking crazy.
Oh, it starts off.
And by the 3rd episode, that was like the funniest episode of the 3.
Okay.
And it made the most sense. And what I've determined is that Kimmy Schmidt is a mutant. And she has a fucking crazy aura that everyone she goes near just fucking turns crazy.
It's the world. It's supposed to take place in the same world as 30 Rock. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of that existence in which Kenneth is immortal and all that other weird wonky shit is going on. So it exists in a world in which stupid, crazy shit can happen.
All right.
Hence a crazy minister or a crazy preacher can kidnap a couple people and put them to a bunker.
Not crazy at all. It's happening right now, I'm sure.
So, the first 3 episodes of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, we'll just bulk rate them and kind of go from there. What would you give the first 3 episodes of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on a scale of 0 to 10?
I'd give it a 6.
Oh, look at that. That was locked in.
All right. How about you? What would you give it?
I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay, well, I went a little high.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think episode 1 is an 8, and then episode 2 and 3 were 7s, so it's close. It kind of bobbles between 7 and 8 for me.
See, I thought the 3rd episode was the funniest of the 3.
I guess I need to... I like the first episode. So I guess spoilers for the first 3 episodes. I'm not going to talk super in-depth about what goes on after that, but just beyond, I guess, vagaries in that it gets weird.
Well, I mean, the funniest thing in the 3rd episode was, I'll make love to you like you want me to. And they were supposed to sing, it's so hard to say goodbye, and he starts singing, I'll make love to you. Oh, yeah. And then she's like, oh shit, he's singing the wrong song, and she starts doing the back away.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious. Because when he first starts singing, everyone's like,
hey, this is nice. And then he gets to the chorus. So I think Titus is funny.
Yeah. So, to me, he was one of the most annoying, the first episode or 2 with Titus, I hated him. Because he's so over the top.
Yeah, he's self-centered, rude, and over the top.
Yeah,
but I think that shit's kind of funny. Just kind of the very random things that he kind of comes up with.
Yeah,
and just kind of ever since you moved in, this lamp stopped working, and just kind of clicking. It's there's no light in that. It's oh, you got me.
Yeah, he was just so crazy. The first episode was just so fucking bizarre. Now, this is what I will say about the show. I can see why you thought I would have liked this show because it is jam-packed with callbacks and just crazy fucking humor.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of random clever jokes in it.
There is. I like Tina Fey, and I like her writing style, but it's where 30 Rock at least had a little bit of storyline and then a joke, and then a little storyline and a joke, and then eventually it would pay off with a punchline. This show is joke after joke after joke after joke, and then a callback, and then a joke and a joke and a joke, and then a callback. And I appreciate the callbacks, but it was coming at me so fast where I had to stop and rewind some parts just to make sure I was along for the ride for the joke. Plus I had Jack. And, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I liked it. But the first episode, I was just oh, fuck. She's just so...
Yeah, she's I don't know, always happy or whatever. and just kind of bubbly, and I like that. I like Ellie Kemper.
I do too. I think she's adorable. The very first thing I ever saw was how dry do you want your blowjob?
Yeah,
And
like that old, was it Funny or Die or something like that?
I don't know what it was
from way back, and then she got popular on The Office, and then I think people started to know her.
And that was the funny part. Was like whenever I was watching The Office and they brought her on, I was like, "That's the fucking how dry is your blowjob, girl?" And like I was making sure I wasn't crazy, so I went back and watched the video again. I was like, "That's totally fucking her." But yeah, it was entertaining. I'm probably gonna keep watching because I want to know what's going on with the fucking crank.
Oh,
I want to know what's happening with that.
Crank you for being a crank.
Yeah, the mysterious crank, and we still don't know what it does. Like,
Yeah.
I want to know what it does. I want to know, do they ever cast the Reverend?
Yes.
Okay, so they didn't show his face in the first
No.
3 episodes, so I figured the actor's just not available yet.
No, they're saving him.
Okay. Do they ever cast the husband?
Which husband?
The one that doesn't come back, that's in Paris, and then had to go to Japan? The rich guy that...
Oh, yeah. For Jane Krakowski's husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, like, I want to find out who the husband is. And the show is just weird enough where I do want to watch more of it. But I'll be honest, right now it's more of a job watching it. Like, it didn't grab me. Like, there was 5 lines that did not hit with me, and then there's one that would. I want to take the suit back. Sorry, you don't get the deposit back on the suit. Well, why not? Well, because look at it. It's all scuffed up. I'll take it off your hands if you just want to give it to me for free. No, I'm not doing that. Well, joke's on you. I have sex with all the costumes when the shop closes. And I was like, that's funny. You know, like, they'll hit you. It's like, it's a numbers game. Let's throw 500 jokes at you, and if 3 of them land.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that didn't land with me, but there was a lot that did. My least favorite character is the blonde right now, the mom,
Jane Krakowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of her, but I mean, I like Titus. He's kind of rude and over the top, but I kind of find that extra personality kind of like tuned up to be kind of amusing, especially like how she has been in a bunker for 15 years, and he still is kind of like. There's a lot of things referring to like, hey, the new tape came in, and they're dealing with like cassette tapes. And one episode, he's like, we need a new cassette tower so we can hold all of our tapes. And it just kind of seems like they're back in the past a little bit. And watching TV, their remote is like a Barbie doll strapped to a stick so he can push the button on the TV. And there's just a lot of little things where it seems like even he's kind of behind the times.
I mean, it can't be too far back because he was like, I have to go and redo my headshot. I need to update it. And he's like got the high top and the fucking glasses with I don't remember who was like running an 84 or whatever, but it was like a Kemp or something like that. I don't remember. And holding the gigantic fucking phone. Like that part was funny too.
Yeah.
And then of course it's got, as soon as she came on the screen, Amber was like, hey, it's Bitch Hit Me with a Toaster Chick.
Which one?
Oh, look, Frank, it's a toaster.
What's that
Scrooged?
No, I don't remember Scrooge. I've seen it, but it's been a long
She
time.
played the ghost.
Carol Kane?
Yes.
Yeah.
She played the ghost of, I believe, Christmas Present.
Okay. Well, she's also liar.
Oh, yeah.
Humperdink, Humperdink, whatever. What's the wife? I'm not a witch, I'm your wife.
Oh, after what I just heard, I'm not sure I'm that anymore. You never had it so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Carol Kane. And her character starts out almost normal, but just kind of weird, and then just kind of ramps up to be like crazy. Everyone's crazy.
Everyone
is a little crazy.
Yeah, she's seriously the main character, the main actress of the show. She's like Black Cat, but for crazies. Because like my initial if I dislodged myself and just read the show on paper.
Oh yeah.
It would just be a woman who got hit too hard in her head or just went crazy down in that fucking bunker. Because like the thing that I also was enjoying was like when they'd go to the restaurant and stuff like that. And like everybody in the background is normal. And everything that happens with her and every single character she talks to, they're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You know? And the other thing that I enjoyed was the guy that she got set up on the date with.
The old man.
the super old guy.
Oh, yeah.
And she was say some German to keep him going because he would get tired. And she'd speak some German, and he's like, spy, start chasing him. And the funniest line was, the president has a small penis. He's like, it was huge. It was so big he had to be in a wheelchair. Like that part, and then he'd get going again. Like that part made me laugh
That's
too.
true. And I like when he saw the doorman, and the doorman's like, oh, come on in. He's like, I went outside today.
Yeah. He kept it, I'm not supposed to be eating ice cream, but he's eating it. And then all of a sudden he's like, the soup is freezing. Like it had stuff in it that was funny, but it was coming at me so fast.
Yeah.
That you figure, I'm sure in your head, you're probably like, Lance gonna fucking love this show.
No, I was just like, he might like it.
Okay, well, it's just, I like humor. I like slapstick. I like crazy fucking humor.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, I don't know if like Tina Fey, when she walked into the writer's room, she was like, just go fucking nuts. See how many jokes you could slide into one scene. Mm-hmm. It's almost like there was a bet. You know, we're like, one of the writers like, I can write 42 jokes in this 3-minute scene. Oh yeah, well, I can write 45.
Yeah. As there are a lot, and some hit better than others, and I think that's kind of what I'm there for, or just kind of the moments that are just kind of like full on amusing.
It's good. Mm-hmm. I didn't hate it. Yeah. Amber is already tapped out. I can tell you that.
Oh yeah.
What little bit she saw, I don't think she likes Ellie Kemper.
It's also just a weird style of humor that I don't know if everyone can appreciate. But also, there's not like, watch this comedy show nowadays. It's great. I don't know if there's a lot of modern comedy that is just like, this is the fucking tits.
No, there's not. And there's nothing that kicks it up to that level that the show has.
Yeah, and I don't know how much effort people are putting into TV shows that are comedies, because there does not seem to be, the money nowadays seems to be in we're putting out a 12 episode mini series or whatever, and it's kind of got like high paid good actors that are kind of there for like the 12 episodes to give you one big long story. And I think one of the reasons I've been enjoying, like when we watch Gargoyles, because it's like 22 minutes and it's done. Or watching like a comedy where you just turn it on, like you can pay attention. It's, if you miss something, it's not a big deal. It's not like the plot of Kimmy Schmidt is super important, but you get like jokes.
You're gonna have to get used to it, because I have a feeling that's the direction things are going right now.
Oh yeah. Well, it's that long form content that I'm not necessarily there for, but I think that's what gets people to tune in. And in a time when everything is essentially online, because normally, like back in the day, you can't do shows like that because someone misses a week. Now they don't watch your show anymore because they tried to go back and watch an episode and they're like, I don't know what this is. I'll wait until the reruns come back around and catch up on your show. But now you've lost a viewer.
It sounds like hell, or that, or at least back. I don't think they do it as much these days, but it was like previously on blah. So it's like if you missed it, they would give you the high points to let you know exactly what you missed last week, if you want to continue on.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're a fan of the show, it's like previously I was fucking here last week. Just go.
Like I said, some of the more serious shows, whatever, like Castle or Bones, whatever, when they've got like this episode contains information about a previous character. We'll give you the previous early on. Otherwise, they just pick up and go on to like, oh, it's a murder investigation, and can kind of just move on. And then there's kind of continuing storylines, like the characters progress, but it's not like if you miss the episode, it's that big a deal. You can tune in the week afterwards, and you probably didn't miss anything unless it was like one of the finales or premieres.
You miss one episode, and you're like, "Fucking Castle has heat vision." What did I miss last week?
Well, like the shows nowadays, you gotta watch every single episode, which I'm not. I mean, it's cool. I'm just tired.
I get it.
I like the break of just silly episodic shows.
Yeah, that's just not the formula anymore. Like I think that was more of a Star Trek kind of a thing. Like
Star Trek's got some of that.
But I mean, everything. It's matter of fact. Comment down below if you could think of a show that's just basically episodic. Like none of them really kind of link. It's telling a story.
Yeah.
I think like Doctor Who is that.
Yeah, to some degree. Sometimes I've watched enough of it to know that they get into like the shtick where they're like, this many episodes is kind of like dedicated to a storyline. But then you sometimes just have an episode that's just kind of off the wall and whatever. And so you can kind of watch some of them, but you might miss a storyline if you tuned out for like a week or two.
I think that's what cartoons are for nowadays. You just watch a cartoon just for like mindless fun, and then you watch a movie or a TV show for like the 12-hour movie, as it were.
Yeah, which I don't really watch many cartoons nowadays. I don't have a kid. So I'm not watching like Bluey or whatever the hit hot new cartoons are.
Since you made me watch the first 3 episodes of the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, I'm going to ask you to watch the first 10 episodes of Bluey.
Because they're like 6 minutes apiece or something.
They're like 6 or 7 minutes, yeah. You never know. You might just be like, oh, fuck, let's watch this shit. It's got that hold, man. I can't explain it. But, like, there's something about it. Maybe it's just a parent thing. I don't know what it is. But, like, I literally spotted a toy in Walmart. Mm-hmm. And Jack loved dogs. And I was like, oh, fucking dog. Cool.
Okay. Blue dog?
Yeah, blue dog. And then I went home and said, I saw a kit that had, like, a bunch of dogs in it that had, like, little figures. And maybe Jack will like it. And she's like, what's it called? It was like Bluey. And she's like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And then we saw it was on Disney Plus. And we're like, all right, let's fucking turn it on. We watched the first 3 episodes and we're just like, and I swear to God, if I'm making this up, we put Jack to bed and then we kept watching it. Like, we just kept watching it. It's just a good show. And like, I think it was on the 12th of this week, which was Wednesday, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, today's 14th.
Yes.
So, yeah.
What are you talking about? It's totally August.
Yes, August. But they put out new episodes. Mm-hmm. So immediately, as soon as Jack's ass hit the seat with a snack and something to drink, we put Bluey on. Mm. And like, the kid, not 3 yet, but he knows when he watches a rerun because he's just kind of checked out. Mm. When the episode came on, he was like dialed in and watching.
It's a new one.
Yeah, so it's a new one. So it was new content for him to consume. So he was in it. But then we had shit to do. So like I kept sticking my head in to watch a little bit and sticking my head in to watch. But yeah, no, I'm not going to do that to you.
It's whatever.
We'll see.
Yeah.
If you want Nick to watch Bluey, Amber, say it down in the comments. All we need is one person to say yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, no. I'm the one that reads the comments, and Amber's comment will never make it to the video.
All we need is 2 people to say yes.
That sounds more plausible, I guess.
Come on, random people out there. Throw us a comment. But yeah, will I continue to watch it? Yeah, probably. Just, here and there.
Yeah, spaced out.
Yeah, here and there when I have time. Yeah. Will I watch it here? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's not something that Amber is like super enjoying.
Yeah, and for the most part, the episodes are 20-ish minutes long. Because I think originally it was going to be on NBC. Mm-hmm. So they were like TV length episodes. And then season 2, or like, so they play in season 1 around it being on network television. Mm-hmm. And then as it finally, like, it's a Netflix show. Now you're getting like 30-minute episodes, 33-minute episodes, 29-minute episodes. And it's kind of making it as long as
Did I see a cartoon in there?
You might have.
I thought I might have saw a cartoon like they did a cartoon episode.
Kimmy goes to her happy place.
Yeah, that kind of looks like a cartoon.
Yeah. It's kind of how is Kimmy so happy? She goes to her happy place, which is a Disney princess land.
Well, I like her rule. Just get through the next 10 minutes, 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, that's kind of, I found that amusing too. Just like if you could stay in 10 minutes for anything.
Yeah, 10 seconds of anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then when she gets to 10, she starts it all fucking over again. It's like, that sounds like hell.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like straight hell.
I also like just how, like in the first episode when she goes into in Titus's place and is just happy about how big it is, and she gets her own room and it's a closet, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's got a window and a door.
This is amazing." But yeah, it was amusing. I'm waiting for the payoff of like the mixture of people in there, because I do know Tina Fey's writing style, and she does like to plant seeds and then like basically let them mature and then zing you with something later on. It
seems like to start, it's pretty much following Kimmy, and then over time we'll be like, well, now we get to see like Jane Krakowski's and Carol Kane's character kind of like interact a little bit as they've kind of like grown into characters and kind of become crazy on their own.
I hate the daughter.
Xanthippe?
Yes.
I think she's funny.
So right now she drives me nuts.
It's kind of I don't know, she's just a teenage girl to a rich family. So she's just kind of insufferable.
I really, the second episode I thought was kind of cute too, just for the fact it was a superhero party. And she went back to Titus and was like, grab your costume and come with me to save the party. Yeah. And I love the way that kid was beating the shit out of him.
So what white bitch got him golf clubs?
White bitch got him golf clubs, and he's just looking at it like, yeah.
It's like I've made less for worse or whatever.
Yeah. I've made less for worse gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amusing, but I'll be honest with you. The first episode, I was just like, fuck.
It's weird. Did you recognize the style of opening song to it, though?
It was the Smo Yoho kind of. Yeah, no, I caught that immediately.
Okay. It's them.
Oh, I know. I know.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when it started doing
it's not just the style of the Shmo Yoho. It is they got Shmo Yoho to do it.
Yeah, when it started, I was just like, oh, they're doing it like Shmo Yoho. And then, like, it was actually well done. And I was like, I bet they actually, like, had them. Yeah, no, it was, I picked it up immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cute. The first episode, I was like, fuck, what has he got me watching? And the second episode, I was like, okay, it's amusing. And then, the only joke I really thought was funny in the first episode was when she walked into the house with the rich lady. I keep forgetting her name. And she goes, water? And she goes, no. And she just throws it in the trash.
She pulls it out. Would you like a water? And it's like, no, just tosses it. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so much random shit like that. Like if you blink, you miss that joke.
Oh, yeah. And it's just kind of to show how wasteful.
Yeah, like she's just
whatever.
It's just she's got whatever, and then she's like, "Oh, but yeah, I set you up on a date with whatever," and he's so old. But then I saw his apartment, and I'm like, "Yes, please," you know, like that whole. It's just I don't know. Her character is so fucking crazy, and then the backstory of her really being a Native American.
Oh, yeah,
it's like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, it's just nuts.
Yeah, it's weird.
You're looking at all this white girl Sears catalogs. What about our catalogs? It's like Native American Sears. I was like, that's just, it's, man, that was a long way for a joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I will watch some more episodes.
Just sprinkled in occasionally.
Yeah, like when I don't have stuff to do and there's nothing else to watch at all. Then I might grab a few more episodes because, like, I am curious. I want to know what the deal is. Did they ever tell you what the crank does?
Yes.
Okay. See, I have to keep watching because I want to know what the crank was. I want to find out who gets cast as the preacher, which I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and guess. Is it?
You heard his voice at least. So if you're good at voices.
So I was listening to the voice, and it did sound familiar, but I did not place it. So it's not Alec Baldwin.
I mean, do you want me to tell you?
No. Well, no. Well, I'm going to guess Alec Baldwin's probably Homegirl's husband or whatever. I don't know. When I get to it, how many seasons are there of the show?
It's technically 5, but I think the last 2 are kind of like split. Whereas no, maybe not. Like,
is it over now?
Yes. No, okay, it's 4. It's 4, and they split up season 4 into like 2 13-episode seasons, I think. And then they didn't get like a full, like for the full closer was kind of a for a while Netflix was doing like the interactive choose your own adventure style movie or whatever.
Okay.
So the last episode of Kimmy Schmidt, air quotes, it's kind of like the end cap on all of it is a choose your own adventure movie. Where you can kind of like you're watching with your remote and kind of like, does Kimmy do this or does Kimmy do that? And then I'm not a big fan of it.
That is so lame. Oh my god!
I'm not a big fan of it in particular, but the way the series ends, it ends.
Okay.
Like the little interactive special or whatever is kind of like a tack on for kind of like what they're doing at this point and kind of wrapping some other things up that they didn't really need to necessarily wrap up per se.
Okay.
So I'm not as into it. It was amusing. I did it once and kind of like did through and did a bunch of the options just to see what it was about. And I was kind of like, yeah, I prefer watching the show, not interacting with it, I suppose.
So, but it wasn't anything that happened live. It was just one of the ones where you pick which it was. Yeah, I did one of those one time. They did a wrestling Halloween Undertaker special or something like that, where the Undertaker was the bad guy, and you were following like wrestlers going through a haunted house. And I was literally going through it. I got about halfway through that and was like, this is fucking weak, and then just basically turned it off.
Although one of the options is makes Titus sing Freebird. He's like, you don't need to know the words to Freebird. And he's like, really? He's like, oh, let's go up there and sing Freebird. So he goes up there and just sings Freebird.
That man does have a beautiful voice.
So he was Sebastian in the Broadway version of Little Mermaid.
Really?
Yeah, or at least one of the Sebastians.
He has a beautiful voice.
Oh, he's good.
Well, I was expecting it to be another joke where it was like, you have to share your gift with the world. And I was like, he's fucking horrible singer.
Yeah,
and then he does like the thing where she's like, I have all this money or whatever. And he's like, meh, let's go out to the club. Let's celebrate. Meh. And then he was like, I'll pay for everything. I'm coming out. I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But yeah, he does.
He also did the Circle of Life at the end of the first episode.
And then there was that callback where it's like, oh, I tried to do my own thing in the Lion King. And it's like, and then the fucking the guy's just watching.
Yeah, and then later they call back to him.
And then later they call back to him getting served papers.
Yeah, cease and desist.
And he's like, that's fair.
Hands over the cat.
Yeah, like I kind of figured that's what I was getting into because I was like, I know she's like the callback queen, but that's good humor. She follows the rules of three, and she loves I love a good callback.
Yeah.
But yeah, will I watch it at the house? Probably not.
Yeah.
Will I have time to watch it at work? Probably not. But there are times when it gets slow.
Yeah. Or just times in which everyone's gone to bed and you're like, I've got 20-ish minutes to spare.
I'm hung up on another show right now. I have really, really found a new love for Chris Starr, the guy who plays Homelander.
Okay.
That dude is a fucking good actor, man. So he's in a show I'm watching called Banshee right now, and it's pretty good. It's it's I don't want to say a lot about it because eventually I might ask you to watch a first episode or two. But he's the main in Banshee, and he's really good. Then of course I love him in The Boys, and then I watched a movie this week called Covenant. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal.
It sounds familiar. I don't think I've watched it though.
I think it's a Guy Ritchie movie, and it has him. It's a very small part, but the part he plays. The guy's such a good actor that I recognized him, but I couldn't place him.
Okay.
So he's one of those actors who can basically change.
Is he naturally blonde, or does he blonde himself?
I think he blondes himself up. I think he's got brown hair, but I think he blondes himself up to just look like the Aryan Dream, Aryan Wet Dream. Yeah. So, but no. Thank you for asking me to watch the show. It was interesting.
Yeah, and I think I would recommend it to people that like Tina Fey's humor. And then if you're just in the mood for a comedy that's weird, it might be worth giving it a chance. I don't know if it's going to be a show for everyone, but I mean, I think this is more of a cult classic kind of show. And that Netflix put out 4 seasons of a show is pretty fucking amazing. Because I've watched some shows on Netflix where I'm like, this is pretty good. And then it's 1 season. It's I watched Everything Sucks, because there's been a lot of 80s nostalgia. And this was a show that was 90s nostalgia. I'm like, oh, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. I grew up in the 90s. So I watched the first season of the show. I'm like, oh, it was all right. And then it was canceled. I'm like, okay, never mind then.
They're doing that Fox shit now. Fox in the, what is it, 90s, 2000s, were just basically buying properties. And then after 1 season, immediately shelving them. Family Guy went on this huge fucking rant where it was Family Guy, I think, was one of the first shows that went away and then came back. Yeah. And they make this joke where it's oh, well, it's not like we're these other shows, these fine shows that are Fox. And then it's literally 5 minutes of him reading.
Yeah, just reading shows that were canceled by Fox.
And it's such a long investment for a joke, but it's funny.
Yeah.
And I think Netflix is doing the same thing. They're buying everything they can up. Yeah. So when they do go under, they could sell them back to other.
Which I'm curious if that's the idea, because I ended up watching one called No Good Nick, which was a comedy, but I don't even know that was necessarily that funny. But I watched it because it had Sean Astin and what's Melissa Joan Hart, is that her name? The one that played Clarissa Explained It All.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a show back in the 90s. She was also Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Okay, I think so.
I think that's Melissa Joan Hart. But it was those two as the parents. And I'm like, okay. And it was an interesting enough idea. And it was 2 halves of a season, and then it was canceled. And I don't know. It wasn't that good to begin with, but it was interesting enough. Where there was a couple things where I'm like, I need to see how this ends up. Because it was about a family. And then someone comes in and being like, oh, my parents died, and you're my closest family. But it turns out she was a con artist being planted there to help her foster family steal some loot. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this show?
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and it's kind of goes through the course of that. And so, whatever. And then also, Warrior Nun, I think is what it was called. got like 2 seasons before it got shit canned by Netflix, and that one actually might have gotten picked up by somebody because I occasionally get like tabs on like on my Google Chrome with like news, like, oh, check this out, Warrior Nun got picked up somewhere. I'm like, okay, because there was a big push when that one got canceled for people to be like, bring it back, please. Someone please buy this show. It was interesting.
Yeah, I was reading a thing the other day where it was like, shows that got canceled by blah. And I started going through it, and I got to the 4th slide, and it was like, what did it say? The sci-fi show that got, the sci-fi show that, fuck.
Sci-fi the genre or sci-fi the channel?
Sci-fi the channel.
Okay.
And the genre was dystopian kind of future.
Okay.
The one...
I don't think I watched.
I don't remember, but it basically was a space show that like had 2 seasons on Sci-Fi. Then it got canceled, and then I think it got picked up by Amazon. It's not Event Horizon. That's just what I want it to be. I want an Event Horizon fucking.
How do you make that
TV show.
into a TV show?
Just like ships going through Chaos Realm.
Oh, it's kind of make it like each episode's about its own crazy
Other ships coming back, or other things coming back, or it'd kind of be like Silent Hill, the TV show, but in space.
Okay.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
Okay. And, well, lately I ended up watching White Lotus, so on Patrick's recommendation, so I watched both seasons of that.
Amber, I'm sure, will give that a thumbs up because she watched it and she was like, "It's got this actor you like," and I was like, "Cool." And it had this joke that I thought was really funny that I thought you thought was funny. Cool. Would you watch the trailer? I was like, "Amber, I'm not watching it." And she was like, "It's really funny though. I think you'd like it." I was like, "Maybe. I'm not sure."
You might like White Lotus.
I've just got too much.
Yeah. Again,
there's just too.
There's so much stuff.
Yeah, there's too much to watch.
It's at least a shortish watch. They're like hour-ish episodes of 6 and then of 7. So a 13 episode run through nowadays is a lot less of an ask than Supernatural. I'm curious about Supernatural, but it's so long.
Yeah, well,
and I know, just watch the first 5 seasons and then you could stop watching. Like, I don't know.
But that's when the show is supposedly got like good. Like apparently they had an arc that they wanted to cover in 5 seasons, and then apparently they just kept going.
Yeah,
and like I've seen episodes, like Amber's shown me episodes where the homeboy gets killed by a taco. Ooh, tacos! Like that episode was great. And then I don't know, there's another episode she showed me where like I guess Dean was a scaredy cat or something like that, where like there's a cat in a locker and he's like, scared me. Like that shit was funny. Like there's some stuff that I'm genuinely interested in. But then she tells me how many episodes there are, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, and there's so much stuff nowadays. So I guess put Kimmy Schmidt somewhere on there and then kind of watch your stuff, because I'm trying to get through Strange New World as well. There's just so much stuff.
Strange New Worlds. See, I want to watch that one too. We haven't caught up on Strange New Worlds. We haven't watched the last season of Picard.
Oh yeah.
We haven't watched any of the there's just so much that we're behind on.
Yeah.
And
then I'm throwing a 4-season show at you. It's like, maybe this is interesting.
I mean, it'd be something that I would definitely watch, but it's like literally every night we come home, we make dinner, get Jack in bed, and then usually after Jack's in bed is the time where we're like, let's watch something for us.
Yeah.
But lately, I sit down in my chair, I look back at Amber and go, what do we need to catch up on? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of keep current on the show so that you can talk about them with people so they don't get spoiled. It's like as we're recording this, there's 4 episodes of Secret Invasion, and I was like, I'll save it for a little bit later, and then I'm just like scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, I guess I'll watch Secret Invasion now if I want to do something like scroll through Twitter.
Something.
It's just people are like throwing up people are talking about it because it's new, and therefore, if I want to be around people, I also have to be current, which is kind of annoying.
So we haven't watched the last episode of Secret Invasion, and literally the same. It was like Thursday morning when I was just scrolling through things, and it's like 23 things you missed, and it was like there were 2 gigantic fucking spoilers right there in the thumbnail. People should be hung up by their fucking nutsack and fucking labia majoras who put shit up like that. That's not cool.
No, like the day after in thumbnails with big red circles around.
Anything that has an arrow pointing at something or a fucking circle, I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Because nothing's ever fucking there.
No.
So, yeah. Go fuck yourself, whoever decides to do it. Yeah, that's not cool. But
All right, so I guess there's our conversation about Kimmy Schmidt, plus just TV in general.
I know that I've said a lot of derogatory things where I was just like, maybe I'll watch it or maybe I won't, but it was good.
Yeah.
And I do know that, and it's not that I know this, but I'm going to predict that it's going to be one of those slow burn shows that the more you watch it, the more you're going to get out of it, and the more the funnier the jokes are going to get.
Yeah, because it's definitely like as you either grow to like the character. If you end up just hating a character, if you watch this show and you just hate Titus, then it's probably going to be a harder watch because that's kind of like there's the 4-ish main characters are kind of Jane Krakowski's, Carol Kane's, Ellie Kemper's, and Titus.
He had to grow on me because the second he walked outside, I was just like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
I could tell he's going to be a lot of work.
Oh yeah, he's tuned up, and I find that kind of funny.
Yeah, he grew on me. Again, gorgeous voice, and like that. I literally busted out laughing when he was like, she was like, "Ah, oh, Boys to Men. Why do you have that microphone?" He's like, "I was asked to sing at my friend."
I was asked to. Why are you dressed up like that? Because I'm going to a funeral. And it's kind of that twist of like you're making it up, and then you just kind of turn to like you think of the thing funeral, so then you turn sad.
And then she's like, "I'll go with you," and he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
But when he starts singing that "I'll make love to you," like a second he started singing, I thought they were gonna do "So Hard to Say Goodbye," and then he started singing that. I was like, "Oh fuck!" And then they were all like jamming with it, and I was like, "All right, cool." And then he's, "I'll make love to you." And I was like, "Oh."
And then even he realized.
Yeah, and then like the two dudes are standing beside him, they start backing away and shit. That shit was funny, and then I just love Carol King. She's like, "Oh no, he sung the wrong song," and then she just turns around and fucking books. I was like, "All right, that's pretty good," but yeah, watch it. I definitely say it's worth a watch.
Okay, well then I suppose that leaves one final question.
Nick.
Yes.
I kind of wanted to throw episodes at you, since you threw episodes at me.
Sure.
But there are other movies that I do want you to watch, and I know there are 2 big ones right now that I want you to watch, and I've been thinking about this whole time. Which one do I think Nick will enjoy more?
That's good. That's a mystery to me because I know what the 2 movies are, but I don't know which of the 2 movies.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Lance.
Have you seen Tombstone?
I have never seen Tombstone.
Well, there you go.
All right, time for Tombstone.
I really want to make you watch the other one, too, because it's a fucking fantastic movie. But I'll just ask you after.
Yeah,
when it's my turn
I imagine in 2 months when it's like, what am I going to make you watch? I'll be like, do you mean this movie that I have?
I'll be, oh, yeah.
Because I imagine I'll have both of them at my house for a couple months.
Hey, man, if y'all stick with us and watch this channel, like, in 2 years, I'm literally going to be like, fuck, we watch? Yeah, I liked it when the guy said the thing.
In about another year, I can be like, hey, Lance, have you seen a movie I've already made him watch? He's like, I've never seen that movie before. And then we'll sit down and watch it again. We'll make another video, and it'll be entirely different.
And that'll be the April Fool's Day special. You'll keep fucking like getting me to watch the same fucking movie every year. And I'll just be like, it was familiar. It had familiar beats to it, but no, I don't think I've ever seen it.
I'll just be like, it reminded me of this movie. And you're like, oh, okay.
Then you could change the channel to Slow Descent into Madness with Lance and with Nick, and maybe his name's Lance. He doesn't remember, so
Your name will be like Clance.
Just call me Landon.
Yeah,
but
with Nick and Landon.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.